Now, today's ruling on birthright citizenship is a win for U.S.-born children of immigrants. Some who came to the country by other means aren't so lucky. Last week, the court ruled that the Trump administration was allowed to end a form of humanitarian relief known as temporary protected status. That means deportation protections for thousands of Syrians and Haitians in the United States are set to expire. Charles Kuck is a founding partner at Cook Baxter Immigration, LLC, and he joins us now from Atlanta. Good to see you. I do want to get first to that ruling on birthright. It was not necessarily a surprise, but why is it significant anyway?
Well, it puts to rest finally the argument that's been centering around the right side of our political spectrum that somehow people that are born in the United States are not citizens if their parents were undocumented. And it's caused a lot of consternation in the communities that it's addressed to. It's also caused a lot of consternation in the communities of legal immigrants, people here on work visas, people on TPS, for example, whose children are born here. They're clearly legally here, and this executive order tried to exclude them from citizenship as well. So it allows those individuals to rest easy. I'd even had conversation from when Trump initially announced this in January 2025, with an effective date 30 days later, from a woman who wondered if she should have a C-section before her due date to make sure her child was a U.S. citizen. So those kind of decisions now don't have to be made, and we can move forward and hopefully fix other parts of our broken immigration system.
Oh my goodness, what a searing example. And it shows how desperate people are to make sure that their children have those rights when they're born here. I want to go back to this issue, though, that is obviously top of mind for so many under protective status, temporary protective status in the United States. Last week, as we said, the Supreme Court ruled that the Trump administration could essentially send them all home. Now, you will remember during the campaign in 2024, Donald Trump claimed Haitians in Springfield, Ohio were actually eating their pets. He was trying to make the point that they should not be in the United States. It caused a lot of fear throughout Ohio, the entire state of Ohio, as a matter of fact. Now, CNN's Omar Jimenez went back there a few days ago to see how they felt about the protective status being lifted. Take a listen.
Are you scared right now?
Very. I'm afraid they take me and go back in Haiti with me by force.
What are you telling people who are calling in?
We tell them that if they have children, choose a trustworthy person and give that person power of attorney in case something happens to them.
I mean, the fear through some of these communities right now is palpable. Charles, what does all this mean, though, that they can no longer work legally in the United States? And are they expecting to be deported very soon?
Well, I think we have to understand how the system actually works. And I think the Trump administration would love people just to leave without going through the regular process. But right now, TPS still exists for these communities until the Trump administration goes through the formal process to end it. Now, when they do that, they generally give a 30-day period for people to change status or to leave the United States. If they don't leave, ICE does not come and pick them up. If the administration wants them to leave, they will have to go through the formal immigration system, issue them a notice to go to immigration court, at which time they can say, I'm afraid to go back. I would like to apply for asylum. So a lot of these individuals are not going to be leaving immediately. We've seen that in the endings of other TPS countries. So I suspect that a year from now, the vast majority of Haitians and Syrians will still be here, either having applied for asylum or finding other ways to seek temporary status in the United States.
What does that do, though, to their rights in this country in terms of being able to work, for instance?
Well, that I think is the key, because once TPS is over, that ends their work authorization. But if, for example, they are afraid to go back to Haiti because they will be persecuted for some aspect of their life, they can apply for asylum and apply for a work authorization through that process. Many Haitians have already done that in anticipation of this type of decision. And so while you still hear fear, the reality is there's not going to be a mass roundup of Haitians in the United States, or Syrians, or others for that matter. Keep in mind, our colleagues from our friends from Ukraine have an expiration coming up as well. So this is not just for this TPS, it's for all the countries that are currently on TPS.
Yeah, certainly very dramatic changes to immigration in this country in the last year and a half. And from listening to you, there will be more. Charles Kuck will continue to check in with you. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.